back-to-back victory for Remco Evenepoel at the Tour de France. He's a stage winner for a second day in a row. He's the best at this. He is the best time trialist in the world. Even Pogacar cannot come close to Remco when he's on a TT bike. He wins the time trial by 28 seconds, but it's not all good news for Red Bull Bora. They've lost Florian Lipowitz. He has crashed. This is how it happened here. He was coming around a bend and then his front wheel just slides and then he ends up hitting the ground on his right shoulder there, breaking his collarbone possibly, and he was lying there for about 5 minutes or so until they were able to get him up and then get him into the ambulance. But he is out of this Tour de France now, which changes the general classification significantly yet again. Looking at the GC here, we've got Tadej, Remco, Del Toro, Seisas, and now Juan Ayuso is in 5th place. Look at this gap though. Remco Evenepoel 4.5 minutes now down on Pogacar, so it's not as insane as we may have thought at this point. The yellow jersey, maybe. I think it's very unlikely, but maybe, who knows? Maybe Remco could do something in this final week. We know he's lost a lot of weight. We know he's climbing better than he ever has. Do you think there's any chance, any possibility, no matter how remote, that Remco could actually take more time, maybe on Alpe d'Huez against Tadej Pogacar? I don't think so. I think Pogacar's still going to win this Tour, but Remco clearly doing his best ever Tour performance this year, and it's just great to see he's really coming along well on this team. But looking at the results of the stage today, Remco obviously wins. Pogacar is behind by 28 seconds. Skelmoser does an amazing time as well, 1 minute, but it's these two guys who are just above everyone else. But then Paul Seisas, 19 years old, remember, he's up there 4th place, 1 minute 16 down on Remco. And Del Toro, who I was actually thinking would do better than Seisas in this time trial, he actually doesn't. He comes in around 5 seconds slower than Seisas, which is a bit of a surprise to me. Potentially Del Toro, he might be suffering now at the Tour de France in the final week. He might even potentially struggle to defend his 3rd place from Seisas in this final week, which is kind of crazy to even imagine, because Seisas, this is his first Tour de France. This is a 19-year-old, and you know, at that age, you just don't think that there's any likelihood that a rider that young could even contend the GC, never mind actually potentially finish on the podium. Very amazing to see what's going on in cycling at the moment. But we've got some more disturbing news actually surrounding today's stage. Brandon McNulty was knocked off his bike by a car before the Tour de France time trial today. I didn't even know about this until looking at the feed and making this video, but there's a report out here that the Super Domestique, he actually is all right, he's fine, but he was knocked off his bike before the time trial. So he was coming to the start line, it says, and then one car was a little bit upset behind him, and then he tried to overtake him and then stopped, and then Brandon obviously crashed into the car. I mean, what kind of an idiot would... Why is this driver even near the Tour de France if they're going to treat the riders with such disrespect? It's just ridiculous. I mean, I've been cycling around Alpe d'Huez today, and the drivers here are actually really respectful. I can't believe that this is even a conversation right now. I mean, I imagine if McNulty actually really hurt himself here, I mean, that is just such a cowardly thing to do to a cyclist. I mean, come on, I know they're slower than you in a car, but they're a human being in a vulnerable position on the road. It's just absolutely unspeakable. It's like almost like it's the same as punching someone in the face. Apart from your fist is a massive metal vehicle. I mean, it's just such a cowardly thing to do. Drivers, have more respect for cyclists. They're human beings. Show some manliness and treat them with some respect, for God's sake. EF Education Easy Post, Jonathan Vaughters is defended nighttime anti-doping tests. He suggested that if such tests had been carried out when he was racing, it could have exposed more cases of doping and saved the sport. Well, actually, I was looking on X feed here, and we've got a post someone has made here saying that this is the exact moment when the French judge got serious, consistent suspicions about Pogacar and Vingegaard. According to L'Equipe, at 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. anti-doping tests on Jonas and Tadej were reportedly authorized by a French judge. So this was actually something that a French judge had to authorize. I wonder why they didn't do this on Paul Cesas and only on Tadej and Jonas. But this is only because of a 2015 law where to authorize something like this, it requires serious and consistent suspicions about a rider and their performance, with the risk of evidence, potentially evidence of doping, being lost here. This is very interesting. So this basically suggests that whoever is in charge of doing these doping tests at the Tour de France has gained suspicion towards Tadej Pogacar and Jonas in a consistent and serious manner. I mean, this is kind of crazy, actually. I didn't expect this sort of thing to happen at the Tour de France, since everyone's so quick to label this race as clean without any evidence to the contrary, which kind of makes sense. Someone isn't guilty till the evidence shows up. But it's got to the point where these performances are triggering suspicion on a new level here, that even a judge is deciding to have early hours of the night doping tests on these riders. People are saying, show the evidence, all the cards on the table. I'm calling BS on this entire thing. Well, the judge had seen them. We should have faith in judicial systems of sovereign countries. There's obviously this argument and just keep going and going. You know, of course, Cesas wasn't tested. Yeah, I mean, why didn't Cesas get tested? I mean, he's 19 years old and he's doing so well. I mean, if you're going to get suspicious, there's a room for suspicion there as well, potentially. But yeah, I mean, the French, this is to cast shadows when their young prodigy is on the rise. I don't know, maybe it is something to do with the favoritism, but maybe it's also just to make headlines and make it look like dope testing is still proactive and is definitely not finding anything and that the riders are clean. Maybe this is all just a narrative they want to create, or maybe it is a genuine suspicion. But I mean, the evidence has not emerged for doping at all. Otherwise we'd hear about it, you'd think. So yeah, I mean, if they're trying to find something, they're not finding anything so far anyway. This person also saying that this was the best Remco Evenepoel uphill result, and even though it was a rolling climb, he didn't expect Pogacar to be beaten there. I was looking at the profile for the stage and I did think that, well, there's a climb. Obviously Remco is amazing with time trialing because of his aerodynamic advantage, but the climb made me think that Tadej would beat him. But yeah, I mean, most of it is downhill and flat, so I guess it makes sense that that didn't happen. But even up the climb, Remco was doing better than him. But I mean, look at these percentages. 4.6%. It's not very steep. There's a lot of aerodynamic advantage even on a climb this kind of level. So good to see Remco actually taking it to Pogacar here in his discipline. They're watching Tadej, and he's finished. They see the time gap. He knows he's won. Wow. Got some random person here. I don't know if this is true. Remco Evenepoel woke up with a cold. I doubt this is true. But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. This is kind of a lumpy day. Climbs at the start, undulation to the end, and I think this could be a breakaway stage, or maybe if UAE control it from the beginning, they don't let it go away, maybe they could spring an attack for Pogacar in this final and he could win another stage, but I don't think it's worth the effort from him to do that. I think he should save his legs now. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next one.